Now I can see we are live. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Our topic today is whether religion today are worthy to be respected. So we are going to discuss to see whether beliefs from religion, whether are worthy to be respected.
I can't. You sound low. I can't hear nicely. Thanks.
So sound is low.
Yeah, it's low. I know it's me alone. I don't know the others. For me, it's low.
Yes, even for me, it's low. I can hear him, but it's low. If you can increase, we can definitely appreciate that.
Okay, fine. Am I audible?
Yes, you can proceed.
Okay, welcome to our YouTube channel as an atheist skeptic of Kenya. Today, our topic is about whether religion are worthy to be respected by us non-believer, or whether their beliefs, we can respect their beliefs or not. So that is what the topic today we are going to discuss to see whether are worthy to be respected. And for me, I will start with my perspective by saying, yes, we respect the beliefs. For me, I respect the beliefs, whichever kind of belief atheists may have, I respect it. But if that deist decided to impose that belief on me, that is where I draw the line. I no longer respect that belief when they try to impose it on me or to the society or to our constitution or to try to impose it in our law. That is my intake. So I want to hear from the members to see their perspective as I arrange the subtopic. So, okay, we can start from Dorcas.
Okay. What is the threshold for respecting religion or faith? That was the topic as phrased on our flyer. I think a belief, because religion and faith are beliefs, okay? They are beliefs. A belief is defined in the dictionary as the strong, assuming something is true, feeling as though something is true based on spiritual conviction. By the way, there's a belief that is confined to religion and similar dogmatic ideas. And then there's a definition of belief that could be more broad, because everybody believes in something. Everybody believes in something. You might believe in human rights. You might believe in veganism, like Morioki. You can believe many things, okay? But there are dogmatic beliefs which do not change with new data. They are consistent because they are based on spiritual conviction or they are based on faith. So, in my book, I think you should only respect an idea when it is worthy of respect. In other words, if the person has good reasons to have that position, to have that idea, then I will respect it. If that person preferably has evidence, then I will respect that idea. But if your idea is devoid of evidence, it is actually fantastical and outrageous. I dare say ridiculous. Your idea, most religions believe in the supernatural. What we were talking about last week, dogs, I mean, not dogs, but donkeys and snakes that are talking, a big fish that swallows a human being and puts them in the belly for many days. Those are the fantastical, mythical ideas that are propagated by religion and faith. They are not rational. So I cannot respect you if your idea does not have good reasons for it. So that is my first position. However, I do concede that there's another angle to this, in that we are surrounded by believers. They call the shots. They are the ones in charge. So if we do not respect their right to exist, they also will not respect our rights to exist as non-believers. So it is sort of a give and take. And because of that aspect, then I would go with what Stano initially said, which is that let those beliefs, let your religion, let your faith be a personal matter. The moment it starts affecting me as a citizen of Kenya, the moment it starts to take on a political angle, or it starts to take on a public nuisance angle, then I'm going to have a problem with it. So I'm kind of divided on this topic. I'm strongly leaning towards not respecting religions at all, because the basis of their idea is faith, the supernatural, and things that are asserted without proof. So most of their ideas are ridiculous. There's that aspect. But then I realize that we live in a religious country, and there's that aspect of freedom of worship. So I think they should have a right to choose their stupid ideas. It's fine as long as they're not imposed on me. I'll get into the details on what I mean by that aspect of it being imposed on us as we continue, but that's where I stand for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. Let's hear from Morioki.
Okay, thanks, Tanu. Maybe I think I'll play devil's advocate here. This is a program called in TBN, a family TV, called Kids Against Crime. It was called Kids Against Crime. I used to watch it every Saturday. It was so good because they used to show criminals who changed their lives. It was based on Christianity. It was a very good program showing people how to behave, how to be good, how to live crime. Then they used to bring real gangsters, say how they were ex-gangsters and they changed. So in fact, I was embarrassed. I'm saying this thing is for Christians, and I every Saturday morning I have to watch, and I used to record by VCR. It was just a VCR. I used to record every day. I used to record it and watch so many times because it was very helpful. So I saw really Christianity there was doing something positive. I was embarrassed, but I had to accept these are very good program by Christians that's showing people who are criminals becoming good people. Yeah, so I had to respect that program. Thanks.
Okay, fine. So, Morioki, you mean the Christian help those people?
Yeah, it is common on family TV. It is called Kids Against Crime, showing how to leave crime and be a good person. And it was based on Christianity. And it was very helpful. Yeah.
So, according to you, do you think the religion is the one that helped those people to stop crime, or it's just the people they are undevised to hand those criminals?
Okay, now the fact is, it was based on Christianity.
But was not based on faith.
Sorry?
Was it based on what they believe, or was it based on the humanity?
Okay, there was humanity, but the background was it was TBN. TBN are Christians, you know, a family TV, TBN. It's based on Christianity.
I
So
understand.
the back.
Okay, let's hear from a master. Aston.
Is the threshold or what was the question?
So we are just in introduction by asking what is your perspective about the respect of what the religious believe?
I wanted to say this point when Wandalo was here, but I don't know why he has left. So okay, for me, there are two things. For me, I have to at least know that religion well. So the first thing I can only say I respect or I don't respect the two religions that I know, Christianity and Islam. For Hinduism, I don't even know what's their doctrines, their what I don't know. Buddhism the same. So I cannot say I respect or I don't respect those other religions. For I base my argument on these two religions that I know very well. So the first thing is about first how they apply their doctrines, number one, and number two, how they follow their doctrines. And when I compare Islam and Christianity, at least I can say I have a little bit of respect for Islam, for Muslims. Putting the extremists aside at least those ones who are not extremists, at least the way I see them conduct themselves is now how they applying their doctrines. That is number one, at least how they conduct themselves. At least they are not hypocritical like the way I see Christians conducting themselves. Christians, it makes me lose a lot of respect for Christianity because of the hypocrisy in that religion. And number two, how they follow their doctrines. Number one, that is, I think Christians are more hypocrite. I know there is no person who can follow whatever their religion says to the latter. There is no one, not even one person. But putting the extremists aside, but now when you compare Christians to Muslims, at least Muslims they follow whatever the Quran says, at least a little bit more than Christians. So as I can say, I have a little bit more respect for Muslims than Christians. And also the second aspect is how they use them, because Christians is like their pastors, they only use the religion to enrich themselves, nothing else. It's like they're just born to be they wanted to be pastors so that they can exploit the poor, and they get used by politicians to get into power. But what I have the reason I also have respect for Muslims is those sheikhs, they don't use their position to enrich themselves, and also they don't allow politicians to use them to get into power. That's why Christianity, if there is any respect I have for it, it's maybe because I was born a Christian, but zero. I cannot respect such a religion that they are most of their people. The reason why there are many denominations is because of this religion is just a business. They've turned this thing into it's just a business. But I know Muslims, I know Islam is not, the Muslims are not 100% right, but at least they don't use their religion to enrich themselves, and they don't allow politicians to use their religion to get into power. So if I base my way on those two things, I think Islam, I respect them a little bit, but Christianity, nah, no. Yes, that's my point for now.
Okay, fine. So according to you, you may at least respect Islamic more than Christianity. So thank you. Let's hear from Black Messiah. Yeah, we have a new Jesus here. A Black Messiah is your turn.
Okay, thank you. Today I said I'm going to be a listener, but I have a pregnant point. So let me say this. You know, respect is a two-way. If I give you respect, I also demand respect from you. So I will say this: we should learn to respect the Christians. Let the Christians do their thing, and we as artists we do our own thing. So we should learn how to respect each other. Respect the Christians. They should also respect us. Yeah, like we should learn to coexist. Let them believe in what they believe, and let us believe in what we believe. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, fine. So respect is earned, not demanded. So that means even as we can try to earn the respect, not to demand it. So it's a two-way traffic. So let's hear from, is it Dorcas or Devin? Let's hear from Dorcas, then Devin.
Okay, because I had said something first, I think I will concede to Ndeve, let her go before me, and then I can speak after.
Okay, fine.
All right. Thank you, Dorcas. Thank you, Pastor Stano. First, let me start with El Maestro. When he said that Islamic leaders do not interfere with politics. There is no line between those two. In 1979, the crisis in Iran, when the students raided the American embassy, and then there was a rise of one of the ayatollahs. That where was the politics and where was the religion? It was just the same thing. When I think that whenever something happens out there, you're going to notice that there is no demarcation between the religion and the politics and the leadership. So it is messy. It is messier than even in Christian situations. But let me now come to the situation that I probably know better because I did not grow up in an Islamic situation. But from what I read in the news, it is messy. But anyway, let me come to religion in general and say this. The threshold, for me, the threshold of respect for religion is really, is it low or high? I'm going to have a problem with whether it is low or high. And this is what I want to say. As long as being a religious adherent makes people unable to think clearly, and makes citizenry ignorant and unwilling. In fact, I'm afraid to be informed. Then how can you respect that kind of thing? That stunts people's growth. Like somebody's growing in the body, but because they are in a religion, they are standard in the mind. They are standard in their thinking. They are afraid to think some things. They are afraid to even ask some questions. And if you are afraid to ask questions on religion, you will not even be any better asking questions about chemistry in a chemistry class. It is just something that it's just as clear as that. You're not open-minded. You're not used to asking questions. So for me, to respect any religion, now I know Buddhism and other Eastern religions, Shintoism and all those, they are not they're not like Abrahamic religions. So I think I would stay more on the Abrahamic religions that stand our thinking capacities and our questions, our capacity to question and to be skeptical, because most of those religions, they shun skepticism. So how are you going to have even any respect for that, for a situation that grows that kind of people? It is very hard to respect that. However, as El Maestro said, that we are a minority and we have to respect, and I'll have to throw a kucha when we become a majority. That is not true. That's not true. But we are a minority, and not only are we a minority, we are a skeptical and a thinking, a group, a people of thinking, people who think and who know what is right and how the right, my right and the right of another person, how they merge together for us to be in the same world together. That harming another person is not acceptable to me, just as harming myself. So that is why I'm saying that those religions are harmful, but we will live with them because we are able to think and we are able to understand that even if they do not respect the right of even some of their own Christians, because you are SDN and I'm a Catholic, things are not good. So yes, so I'm just saying that I really do not have a lot of respect as long as that is what they encourage. They do not encourage open-mindedness, our curiosity, our skepticism. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's hear from Dorocas.
Yes, I would like to piggyback from where Ndebe has left off. And I'll do that by responding to what Morioki said, as well as to what El Maestro said. Because as I asserted earlier, I lean strongly towards not respecting irrational decisions, and religion is an irrational decision. So how can I respect you, for goodness sake? It's such a problem. What Morioki said, he gave the example of TBN and this program where there are at-risk youth who are targeted by the church, and they're rescued from a life of crime because of the works done by the church. And this is what I have to say to Morioki and his ilk. I think that is a cover-up. Those good works are a cover-up for the insidiousness and the harms that are caused by religion. And those good works are just a strategy for recruiting more believers. I think it's the book of Matthew which tells believers to be a shining light to the world so that people can see the God in you and become a believer. That's the ultimate outcome. They're not being good for goodness sake. They are being good so that they can recruit more members. That's one thing. But the thing I would like you to remember, every time you see some charity work being done by Christians, realize there's also a lot of harm that is done by Christians. So it is as though I have an apple that is partly rotten and that is partly okay. So you are told by the person who's holding the apple, no, just look at this part that is not rotten. Yes, it's so good for you. But then there's the other rotten aspect. Why can't we do good without the baggage of religion? Religion does not have a monopoly on charity. And even that example you have given, charity, religious sanctioned charity accounts for just 5% of the activities that are done in the church. The rest of the time, it is preaching, singing, recruiting through crusades, and other activities that are done to sustain the organization. Charity is just 5%. Don't be fooled. You cannot ignore the other side of the coin, which are the harms that are caused by religion. The first one, and maybe the rest of you always forget this part because you are men. But we must always remember that religion, especially monotheistic religions, are oppressive towards women. They don't think of women as second-class citizens. Catholics don't give women the opportunity to become priests. You will never see a female pope because of their misogyny. They tell women that they have to submit to husbands. It's oppressive. In Islam, the mother of all misogynists, women's testimony accounts for a half of men's testimony. Women are required to cover themselves. Women, there are so many challenges in being a woman in an Islamic country. Okay, so yes, they are helping some few people to get off the streets through that anti-crime program, but they are also busy telling women and denying women leadership opportunities. We have cultic deaths. The Shakahola massacre, it is only possible because of the words in the Bible. We have faith healers who lie to believers and cause some of them not to go to hospitals because they believe that God will rescue them. We have the problem of land helplessness in Africa and Kenya specifically, where people are not taking action. They're not exercising agency because they believe that God will save them. We have the problem of loss of money through all of these fast fruits and diets and all that. We have justifying abuse in the Catholic Church. We've had pedophilic priests who are defended by the church institution. All these harms, and you want us to look the other way because they have this program that helps some people to get off the streets. No, let's throw away that aspect of faith and religion. Let's remove the holy texts and the superstitious thinking that make these harms possible, and let's focus on doing good for its own sake. Let's start secular charity organizations that don't have the baggage of religion. Don't be fooled by this game they're playing. That's my response to Morioki. Now on to El Maestro. El Maestro is saying he respects Islam more than Christianity because Christians don't follow their Bible as much as Muslims follow their holy text. Oh my God, that's where the problem is. The more you follow your holy text, which was written centuries ago, the more fundamentalist you become. El Maestro, I think you've just cherry-picked examples, probably because you don't live in those countries. Islam is a dangerous religion. 15% of Muslims commit violent acts because of their faith. Over 80% of all suicide bombers are Muslims because they follow their holy text. It's a problem to be faithful, to be a faithful adherent to your religion. If it is monotheistic, it makes you a violent extremist. So don't tout it as a good thing. It's a problem. Then I've mentioned the misogyny. I've talked about so many other challenges. Oh yeah, with Islam, there is the problem of apostasy laws and blasphemy laws. I wish you lived in some of the West African countries and Northern African countries that we have. Somalia, Sudan, Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, and Egypt, Mali. Those countries have blasphemy laws where if you just say something negative about Islam, even if that negative thing is warranted, like them denying girls the opportunity to go to school, you speak against that. It's a bad idea to deny girls an education. You speak against that, they say you are speaking against Islam and you are blaspheming. And you could lose your life or you could be arrested because of that. There's nothing pleasant about that. There's nothing to respect about such ideas. Predominantly Islamic countries, they silence critics. They make it a crime for you to say anything against their faith, even when that thing is oppressive to the people in it. You see, the thing about us anti-theists, us skeptics who are anti-theists, who oppose religion, we don't do it for its own sake. We don't even do it because we want to recruit people into atheism. No, we do it because we love people. And it pains us to see individuals being oppressed. There's a guy called Mubarak Bala from Nigeria who was arrested and is going to be imprisoned for, over 20 years because of some comments he posted on Twitter about Islam. He's a former Muslim, he's an ex-Muslim. Is this the kind of thing we should respect? We have to speak against it because they are using the law and they are using politics or the government in order to enforce their position of dominance. Blasphemy laws and apostasy, even leaving the faith, is a danger in those countries, in those Muslim countries. It is abominable in several of them. There are over 40 countries with apostasy law. There you leave Islam, you will be imprisoned for life, or you could even be stoned to death. How can we not speak against that? If you care about humanity, if you care about peace and justice, then you ought to speak against those. You can't respect those ideas. Now, I wanted to add my own point, but let me just leave it there because I've spoken so much. I think I'll make my next point later. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that attribute, but still, I think we are in between. We need to respect the religion, and at the same time, when they try to force their ideology to us or to the society, that is where we can still try to draw the line. I will just give some scenario, like when do we need to, I will just give one reason why we need to respect the religion, although there is many negative things why we should not respect the religion, but I will start with why we should respect the religion by saying when we respect the religion, it promotes peace and harmony. Respecting different religions help to to make a peaceful environment and a harmonious society. It reduces conflict and it promotes understanding among people of diverse beliefs. So not only about atheists respecting the other religion, but also religion respecting the other belief. For example, Christian respecting Islamic, Muslim respecting the Christian. So that will make us live in peaceful, and also will be able to flourish together. Example, if for example, like me, I interrupt a preacher because I think he or she is saying something that is not logical or something extraordinary claim. Like maybe he say or she say he had fasted for 14 days without eating and drinking. So I have the right to interrupt by asking him or her question about that. How is it possible and where is the evidence? But by doing that, I may end up with a chaos because he will react, or the members or the surrounding people who have the common belief with him, they will also react against me, and that will not be peaceful. So for that sake, I try to maintain peaceful by maintaining quiet without asking any question about that. So you just look the environment, you see, yes, you see that idea or what is saying is not right, and is not worthy to be respected, but for the sake of peace, you just try to maintain peace by not interrupting or by not asking any question about that. So that is what I can just say by saying we can respect whatever people believe in, even if it's a ridiculous belief, as long as they are not imposing on us. Let's believe whatever they want, as long as they don't interfere with our life. But the moment they interfere with my life or our life, that is the time we can just react. But still, there is a way that we can react, make, and remove that peaceful environment. So we must act in a wise way. So that is what I can just say. Let's hear from Deve, then Morioki.
Sorry, I did not lower my hand. Sorry. I'm going to do that now. I will wait. I'm still composing my points about the next point. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Let's hear from Morioki.
Okay, thanks, Tanu. Now, I just want to ask Dorcas, since you are skeptics, how can Dorcas be sure that Christians are not genuine? Like this thing I used to watch on Family TV, TBN. How sure are we that they are not genuine? Can you be sure they are faking it? Or are they genuine? How can you be sure it's not genuine? And also, like Dorcas and I are planning a trip to our children's home next month. We are planning Dorcas to go to our home. I was scared of our pool because last time we went to our home, Paul said that he want power, we are feeling guilty. Those are atheists. They're saying that we want power and we are guilty. Now, Christians, I think Christians and Muslims, they can't say that. If you like Christians, if you like Christian or Muslim to do a work for charity, I think they'll accept. But atheists, they'll say we want power and we are guilty. If as well, I was scared of our poll. So I'm trying to talk as at times for religious, things like charity come easier, And so now, Dorcas, can you be sure that these people are not genuine in what they are doing? Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I think all religious people are genuine on whatever they are doing. Only if you are a pretender, for example, maybe I can be a pastor and pretend God has spoken to me. because I wanted maybe to maintain my dignity, or I want my royal position to remain, or I wanted something from the member. So I decided to write to them. So, but majority of believers are genuine in whatever they are doing. Even those who do funny things that can cause even their life, they are also genuine in whatever they are doing. Let's hear from Dorcas.
Okay. First of all, Morioki, my point, my objection to religious charity was not based on genuineness. You can be very sincere about something, but you can be very wrong about it as well. I was not objecting to how genuine they are or how not genuine they are. That's not the objection. My objection was the requirement to become believers. Okay, not a requirement. I don't want to say that you are obligated when you are helped by a Christian, that you are obligated to become a Christian. No, but they'll share their message. They'll share the quote unquote good news with you and tell you that we are believers, we are Christians, and Jesus came to save you. If you surrender your heart to the Lord, you will become born again. That is usually a requirement, even among prisons, those prison programs that they have, where they apparently go to reform them, they still preach to them. So, in other words, it is still a conversion tactic. You are focusing on the surface level. Look underneath, because we are skeptics. Look underneath. And just because it's easy, you're saying it's easier for the religious to be charitable compared to other people. Just because something is easy doesn't make it right. This is how Christianity maintains a chokehold in society. Using such tactics, it looks at what the vulnerable need and provides that, but at the back of it, it spreads its idea, it preaches, it converts people. So because this person is so desperate for your help, they'll do anything you say. It's okay. You're saying there's a Jesus, he resurrected, he was born of a virgin, all the ridiculous ideas, the supernatural craziness, they'll go along with it because they were desperate. So I challenge you to go beyond the surface level and look at what else they are doing. If all the Christians were doing was just good works, if that's all they were doing, I would be a fool to criticize them. But I'm telling you that that's not all they do. Charity, religious charity accounts for 5%, number one. And number two, they almost always preach to those people they are helping, because their intention at the end is to recruit. That's my response to Morioki. But I don't want to go back and forth on this. Like, okay, you've decided to see it that way, you see it that way. Now, where do I go from here? There's so much, there's so many angles to take. I think what I'll go with is let me start with Stano's comment. Because Stano said that an advantage of respecting religion, or just respecting other people's beliefs and ideas, is that it maintains peace. And he's right, it will definitely maintain peace. But as a skeptic and as an anti-theist, but absence of conflict is not an indication of a perfect society. We have to ask ourselves, what is more important? Is it peace or is it justice? This same logic is used by abusive spouses. You can find that a husband beats up his wife from time to time. Or he oppresses her in some way. Maybe he's the primary breadwinner and she's a stay-at-home mom, and he doesn't give her money for basic needs. He doesn't give her those because it's a way of manipulating and controlling her. He does that intentionally. Now, this lady who has a problem with her husband's behavior might be advised maybe by her mother who was also a housewife. Her mother can tell her, don't say anything. Don't confront that bad behavior in your marriage for the sake of peace. For the sake of peace. So she goes silent and continues to be oppressed, manipulated, and controlled and abused because she's prioritizing peace over justice. That's the same thing with many of these religions. I've given you the example of Islam and what it does with the law, and we know of what Christianity does with the law as well here in Kenya. So we can say let's observe peace, let's tolerate each other. Yes, but at what expense? When there's no justice, when we continue to face all of the challenges that we are facing, which come from religious privilege. We have to speak truth to power. It might cause some ruffled feathers for a while, but in the long run, it will make society better because it will make society a fairer society. So that's what I had to say in response to Stano's point. Now, on this idea of what is the threshold for respecting religion, as I said, a part of me still thinks that we should respect even stupid ideas if they are not imposed on us, right? They're not imposed on us. Unfortunately, that is not the case in Kenya today. In Kenya today, and in many other countries around the world, religion has public influence. It has significant institutional influence. Let me give you just 2 examples of this. The first one is with regard to prayer ceremonies in workplaces or in public fora, especially political forums. You find that in some workplaces, they always have opening prayers, they have closing prayers, they display the 10 Commandments, and they also consider your Christianity when hiring you. So if you happen not to be a Christian, if you say you are an atheist, you will be discriminated upon. That is a problem, and we cannot respect religions that do that discriminate against individuals who are not part of them. We have to speak against it. But it's become so normalized that nobody ever raises a finger. Another one is on public nuisance laws. You find that we have street preachers, because as we said, keep your religion private. Keep your religion private. If you keep your religion private, I will respect it because it's your business. But these people, these street preachers, or the ones that enter public transport, matatus, they go around causing a nuisance to us and requiring us to listen to their dogma, and nothing is done about them. So I think we should have laws that forbid people from pushing their religions in public spaces. Keep it private. We have the Jehovah's Witnesses that go witnessing to people. We have churches in estates that blast their sermons to the entire estate, and they cause disruption. People can't sleep because of them. So they are interfering with our public welfare, and we have to speak against them. Now, the most important one where I will start respecting religion if it does this, in Kenya especially, is if it gets out of our public school system. I can decide as an atheist to raise my child, to have my child with a fellow atheist, right? So if I have a child with a fellow atheist, I can decide that I want to raise my child in a secular way. I don't want to indoctrinate them, okay? But if you live in Kenya, CRE, religious education, is compulsory. It's compulsory, I think, until a certain level. So my child is going to be indoctrinated into falsehoods. That is not okay. And it's only possible because the law allows it to be that way. Kenya is a secular state. If we remove religious education, especially compulsory religious education, from our education system, I think that will go a long way in me respecting religions. But as per now, I have to fight for the right to raise my child without state-sanctioned indoctrination. You know how difficult it is for somebody to leave religion, to become an atheist like us later on, even when they are presented with the facts. Why? Because they were indoctrinated at a young age when their critical thinking skills had not developed. How can I see that happening to my child and I'll be okay with it? Just respect religion. No, I have to speak against it. So that's what I had to say on that perspective. Now, let me leave you guys with a question. I'm wondering, we are talking about what is the threshold for respecting religion and faith. So what is your understanding of respect? When you respect something, how do you show it? That's the question I have for you. Thank you.
Nice. So let's hear from Aston.
A few reactions. So the first one is okay. Before I go to the other point, Muriuki, you said that you are afraid of a poll, of doing a poll on if we should, I don't know, go for children's home or not. The thing is, many people will say no because those children, we will go there to children's home, and after we've done something for them, they'll say thank God. They'll thank God for that. That's why a lot of people will object to that. Umepelekea tu, you've taken to them some items, you've played with them, and then at the end of the day they say thank God. Or okay, and the reason I wanted to ask you, so Muruki, what is your motivation for you going to a children's home? For you wanting us to go to a children's home, what is your motivation?
No answer now, eh?
Yes, answer now. What is your motivation?
Yeah, just that one day. That one day makes a big difference in their lives. That one day can impact them for the rest of their lives. That one day is just critical. Yeah.
But you know, after we've gone there, there's maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, and other people will also go there to do the same thing that we've done.
Yeah. So we're part of it. If you buy clothes, take shoes, food, pencils.
Okay. So your motivation is that will impact their lives. Will impact their lives.
Yes. Yeah. Just that one day we make
just to be part of their lives.
And to help them and to show that there are people who care for them, the people who think about them.
Of course, there are people there, not only us. We are not the only people who will go to that children's home. A lot of dead people, but now they at the end of the day they say what? Thank God.
Okay, so who cares? We're going to be. Our past belief.
It's okay, okay. It's okay, but okay. I've already told you why. I've already told you why people will say no. I've already told you why. So the other point is, Dorcas, remember in my point which I was saying, I do not respect Islam or Christianity 100%, but at least I said, at least I have a little bit of respect for not 100%, a little bit, maybe. I don't know if I should put a percentage on it, maybe 10 to 15%. I don't know if respect has a percentage, but at least. And I said in my point, putting extremists aside. Remember when I started saying my point, I said I know extremists that they've done a very very huge damage to how we view Islam. I know, but in my point, I said putting extremists aside. Yes, I know things that go on in Nigeria, but for me, I based my point on the Muslims I have interacted with and the Christians I have interacted with. You remember me, I have lived in Mombasa for 17, 18 years, and I have a lot of Muslim friends. In fact, uh, this is what I didn't tell you. I wanted to come with one of my Muslim friends to Ngong Hills this past hangout, but he was held up. I wanted he was very very much willing to come and interact with us, not about not come and preach, but to have fun. But in the last minute, he got held up. He is my friend till now. He was from high school. So for me, I was basing my judgment on this respect based on the Muslims I have interacted with and the Christians I have interacted with. If I I look at them, these Muslims that I've interacted with on one side and the Christians on the other side, at least Muslims a little bit, because I don't know if I should say it is because the Muslim there's no Muslim who has ever told me I don't know Allah will do you what, but Christians wakisikia ati mimi nimeacha kuabudu Yesu I know even Muslim, okay, I know Muslims maybe they do that, they become hostile to people who have left their own religion but not another religion. And for me, that is just how it is for me, based on the Muslims and the Christians I have interacted with. I can give a little bit of respect to the Muslims, not the Christians. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So I think just the way you have seen it, it depends with whom you interact with, because some people, maybe you can interact with some type of Muslim and see Christianity is better than them. So it depends with the kind of the friend or the kind of the Muslim you are interacting or the kind of the Christian you are interacting with. So it depends with the individual. But when it come about the preaching, Christianity are the more aggressive in that kind of imposing their religion to under our throat. So let's hear from Murioki.
Okay, thanks, Tanu. And I want to tell Dorcas analogies. Me, I find analogies to be very, very dangerous. Now, she mentioned about a woman being beaten by her husband. That's a difference between what we're discussing today. So analogies at times throw us off the topic. Now, a woman being beaten by her husband, that's just wrong. That's plain wrong. When I see religion has good things. Like Catholics, they build schools, they build hospitals. So me, I can respect that. You go to a hospital, you find it's called St. Mary's, it's called St. something, and it's by Catholics. So they build schools, hospitals, but not a man beating a woman. It's outright wrong. Then also, like in my
Muriuki, remember this.
yeah,
Religion thrives where the state fails. Religion thrives when the state fails. These hospitals you hear they are these hospitals and schools you hear they are called Saint what built by Catholics. It is because the state has failed. You don't see such kind of schools in states like Denmark, Sweden, UK. You don't see such schools there because the state is functioning there.
yeah. So now, based on that, now we have to respect what they are doing in Kenya, because we're in Kenya. We have to respect at least they are doing something. At least the Catholics are doing something good. And then again, like you mentioned about Islam, like for me, when somebody dies, Muslims bury very quickly. I think they bury after, I think, 1 day or immediately. So I respect that about Islam. When somebody dies, there's no mortuary cost. You go to the mortuary, you stay for even 1 week. They bury you immediately. That I respect. And also the women, because I have so much lust. When I see a Muslim woman, the lust for me goes down. So for me, I'll respect that thing. Because lust is, human beings lust a lot. But when I see a Muslim woman, I'll feel that thing of the lust will be reduced. Then also, what else? Then this thing of suicide bombers. Suicide bombers, for me, it's not Islam. Because in the Quran, they used to use knives and crude weapons to fight. These suicide bombers is something modern, somebody created. You go with a bomb in your body, then you blow up everybody, everyone. That's modern. In the Quran, they use weapons. They can't do that now. You can't take a knife and start killing people like in the days of the Quran. So suicide bomb is an idea made by somebody. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that is very tricky. So that means if we usually fight with the knife, and today we decide to fight with the gun, it's not this. It's not a fight. It's something else. So to change the style of war does not mean that vocabulary of war have changed to another thing. So, and again, I may want to correct you, Morioki, about when the Dorcas met on about the husband and the wife. He was not shifting to another topic. Was not a Randy Herring Pharisee. He was just giving. She was just giving an example. For example, a husband can take care of her wife, give everything the wife may need. She is provided by her husband, but at the same time, the husband is harassing his wife. So that is what we are referring. So religions may be doing many things which are good, but at the same time, maybe there is few elements or a certain percentage that is causing harm to the society. For example, like imposing their religious belief on our constitution, on our society. And the other thing, or preventing, maybe like medical research. So those things are harmful to the society. So that is why we are saying we respect what they are doing, but there are some extent that we don't need to respect. We need even to criticize. And even if we have the power to stop those things that are affecting our life. Yeah, let's hear from Dorcas. And unless Morioki, you have something to add?
Yeah, still, Stanu, I prefer we don't compare like that. You see, the wife is being harassed by her husband in the house alone. Now, religion is something for so many people. There's so many people are involved in religion. A whole country, a whole village. This is just one person. So let's just be direct.
Okay, so I have already used direct by saying religions are doing many good things to the society, to the society, and at the same time they are doing some few harm to the society. So we are talking about the harmful part that they are doing to the society, and the good part that the religions are doing to the society. Anyone can do, even the atheist can do, non-believer can do. other religion or tradition can also do, because it's part of the humanity. You need to have that human in you to help a poor person. You don't need to be a certain religious person to help a poor person. So, and that is what the religions also do. They help the needy. As a human being, you are helping your fellow human being. So that is good thing that we appreciate the religions are doing for the flourish of the society. And we are also concentrating with the bad part where religion are doing a mess in our society. And that those parts are the one that we say we don't need to respect religion for those parts, for those evil parts. Let's hear from Dorcas.
It looks like today I am the only one who is holding brief for skeptics, for anti-theists. Everybody else is clapping hands for religion. Hey, let's support them, blah, blah, blah. So let me start with El Maestro's comment, which is the explanation he gave. He said that he was talking about the Muslims he has interacted with, that most of them have been good to him. And he's saying, putting extremists aside. You see, that is the rub right there. We cannot put extremists aside because the harm they cause is so severe and it comes from their religion. The harm they cause is so severe that we cannot ignore it. So it would be disingenuous for us. For instance, I know Morioki does not like examples, but I don't care. I need to communicate to other people apart from you, Morioki. But I will respond to that analogy bit shortly. It's like the case with R. Kelly or many of the other celebrities like what's his name? Somebody Weinstein. He was in the movie industry. He was in the movie industry. He was a producer, and the guy was. Sorry.
Just mention P Diddy. He's a P Diddy. Mentioning P Diddy. He's the latest.
No. I don't want to give you the satisfaction for reality. I don't want to give you the. You have rammed P Diddy down our throats for the past month. I don't want to indulge you. No. So you find that someone like that there's also a comedian, a Black American comedian. I'm forgetting his name. He
Bill Cosby.
Yes, thank you, Bill Cosby. Yes, Bill Cosby. So Bill Cosby has done a lot of philanthropic work. He's helped so many Black people in America. He's done a lot of good things. However, he abused very many women as well. So for somebody to come and tell me, ignore the women that were abused by Bill Cosby because he's done some good things for Black people in general, Black Americans in general, then I think that would be disingenuous. That would be unjust. That would be unjust. And in fact, they're counting, these powerful people are counting on your ability to be deceived by their good works, to ignore the evil that they have committed. It's the same thing with Islam. Yes, there are many good Muslims. In fact, the majority, like 80%, as I said, 15% of Muslims have engaged in some sort of violence. That's significant. That is a lot. Yes, there are many good Muslims. But the fact that there are extremists who get their rationality from their faith, from their religion, that should make you shudder and that should make you speak up against it if you care about human rights. Yes, those Muslims were good to you, but their Quran, it sanctions domestic violence. There's this verse where Quran 4:24, which says that if your wife your wife doesn't do what you want, if she disobeys you, treating women like children, that you should deny her sex as the first option. If that does not work, then don't talk to her as the second option. Then if that doesn't work, is it talking to her or I'm forgetting what it is? And then now the third option is for you to beat her. Their holy text says that. That is why cases of domestic abuse are not prosecuted among faithful adherents to the text. So you might not be affected as an outsider by that law, that religious doctrine, but there are people who are affected by it. If you're a humanist, and I know El Maestro, you're a humanist, you should care about that. You should also care about the apostasy laws. Maybe not in Kenya, but in our neighboring countries like Somalia, like Sudan, you should care about apostasy law. Let's not live in an enclave. Those Muslims you interacted with did not show hostility towards you because you did not live their faith. But among them, those who live their faith, and then even go on to say anything negative about the faith, they will face hot water. So we should care about it. Let's not be so isolated. Let's be global in nature. Let's not be so narrow-minded that for me, my experience with the Muslims no. But what is happening around us? What is happening in our world? We should care about that. And the last point I want to make on this issue of extremists is that extremists are actually the most faithful adherents of a religion because they are following their holy text word for word. They are going by what is written in their holy text. And this shows me the danger of religion. Take it this way. I'll use another analogy. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. There's a child who has a gun. Okay? There's a gun in the house, and the child wants to play with a gun. You know that this gun has potential to take away a life, right? You know that. But at that moment, the gun is not loaded. It doesn't have bullets in it. So at that point, the child can play with the gun, they can have fun with the gun, and it's a toy, it's a nice toy, they play with it, and there's no problem, they're happy. The gun is doing good in that respect. But it always has potential for lethal outcomes. And one day, somebody will get a bullet, put it in the gun. The child will think this is the normal toy that I've been playing with, and before you know it, they shoot someone or they shoot themselves. That is how I think of religion. The fact that it was written during the Bronze Age, which was a warlike society, where it was okay to take away someone's life based on them not believing what you believe. The fact that those are written in their holy text and they say that that is the word of God and that it should never change, it always has the potential of causing harm. So why should we let this gun be present in our houses for the child to play with? Let's kick out the gun. Let's remove religion altogether. Let's remove superstitious ideas altogether, as long as they have that aspect, that potential for danger in it. Why are we playing around with fire? That is what I have to say on El Maestro's experience and putting aside the extremists. The extremists are so important. And the reason why we actually love moderates, religious moderates, is because they don't follow their faith. They follow secular values. They ignore those bad parts of their Bible. So instead of hoping and praying, in quotes, that people will ignore them, why don't we just kick it out? Mi sijui kwa nini nyinyi mnatosheka tu with that possibility. Kuko na kabob mahali, kuko na kagan mahali. It's not loaded, but eventually there's a possibility it does, and that is a reason enough to get rid of that gun. So that's what I had to say to El Maestro. Now for Morioki, I can't believe you are justified. You are defending suicide bombers. You are defending suicide.
I didn't defend Docas. I didn't defend. I said it's a modern.
You are.
It's in the Quran. It's not in the Quran. It's a modern idea from someone. It's not in the Quran because they kill Muslims too. They kill Muslims too. They kill Muslims also without knowing. So it doesn't work. They also kill Muslims without knowing. When you do a bomb, there are Muslims there in the building. You don't know who you're killing. So that's man-made and modern and dangerous. It's not in the Quran. You get my point. You kill Muslims too.
Let me talk. Thank you. You are still defending them. That's the end game. Let me just speak. I know your finger is itching to respond. You will respond. Your hand is up. It's okay. You'll respond after I'm done with my point. But the outcome of what you are saying is you are defending religious extremists. You are splitting hairs on the method they are using to kill. But at the end of the day, they are killing because of verses in the Quran. And last time we had this discussion on Islam and criticizing Islam, I remember I shared close to 6 verses from the Quran that sanction the killing of people who don't believe in Islam. So don't defend them. It's in their holy book. They are using what is written in their holy book. It doesn't matter what method they use. Muhammad didn't say, don't use any other method except a knife. He did not say that. He just said, kill them. There's one I think I wrote down. Where is it? Oh my, I've lost the place where I'd written it down. I'll look for it. But it just talks about killing non-believers. It doesn't say kill using a knife or a sword, or kill using a bomb. It doesn't specify the details. Bottom line is it's telling you to get rid of people who are heathens, who are apostates, etc. It doesn't matter the method. I can't believe you don't see this. Let people watch this Zoom meeting and they'll see how irrational your position is at this point. You are defending killers, mass killers. You are defending them by saying that the method they used was not written in the Quran. In the Quran they were using no. That's not a requirement. It doesn't matter what method you use. Whether you use suicide bombs, whether you use chemicals, in the future maybe we might have poison gas, whatever method they use, as long as they relied on the Quran, they quoted holy texts from the Quran, then it is religion that is a problem. Stop defending these mass murderers. Stop it. Stop defending them. It pains me to no end. Now, there was also another thing you said on now what was it? I've even lost my train of thought.
Analogies.
Sorry? Oh, analogies. Yes. Thank you. Analogies. So Morioki has a problem he has a problem with analogies because he's saying that they are different. I think if you don't understand something, stop forbidding other people from using that thing which you don't understand. What you need to do is not to be content with your ignorance. What you need to do is to go home and study analogies and understand why we use analogies, how they are used, and whether they are a fallacy. Because you're accusing me of committing maybe a red herring fallacy, which is to take us down another rabbit hole, something unrelated. But analogies do not require you to have similar ideas, like for like ideas between two things. That everything in this thing you're comparing, like in that case, I was comparing the abusive spouse with religion, that everything in religion must match everything with the abusive husband. No. Because if you are saying that religion does some good things, while the husband is just bad because he's abusive. No, he's not just bad also. He also does some good things. He also provides for his family. And religion also does bad things. And I've mentioned so many of them. I've talked about faith healers. I've talked about terrorism. I've talked about oppressing women. And that last one I've said is for all the monotheistic religions. It's not at a small percentage like the religious extremists. All monotheistics, all Christians, all Muslims, all Jews think of women as second-class citizens. So the fact that harm is taking place should warrant concern. We shouldn't say it's okay, they do some good things, so it's okay, we'll turn a blind eye to the bad things. It is the same thing with the abusive husband. It's okay, he does some he abuses his wife, but he also does some good things, like provide for his family, for his kids. He takes his kids to the best schools, and he also gives charity to his community. They're similar. So please don't forbid me from using analogies because you don't understand analogies. Challenge yourself and go and learn about analogies. When you don't understand something, don't try to project your lack of understanding onto other people. No, that is personal incredulity. When you don't know something, it's like those people who say, I don't understand evolution, so evolution is wrong. Evolution is false because I don't understand. Because you don't understand analogies doesn't mean that the analogies are wrong. Yeah. So what I would challenge you, go and study about analogies. If you don't want to study about analogies, then stop stopping us from using them. Because this is a personal challenge that you have. It's not a general challenge that everybody has in this Zoom meeting. I know I've spoken a lot. Thank you for your indulgence.
Yeah, thank you. So let's hear from, is it Morioki or is it Teve? Morioki, have you seen something? Let's see. Yeah, just talk. I know you are a man of few seconds.
So thanks. I think Doc has made it worse. She made it much worse now. She used a gun. A gun can never be a toy. A gun is a destructive weapon. Now, if you use a gun again and compare what kind of, there's no comparison with a gun and religion. A gun is just bad again. A gun is dangerous. A gun is lethal. So now that's even worse now, using a gun. There's no, you can't put a gun.
Okay, Morioki, you don't understand analogies.
Why a gun? A gun is just bad.
Does not have to be similar to a gun. It doesn't. The reason why I use that analogy is that a gun has the potential to cause harm, and it has the potential to be a fun thing. It's just an example.
A fun thing how a gun. A fun thing how to explain, please. A gun. How?
Then let me do this. Replace the gun with a knife.
That's
Replace
better.
it with a knife.
Much better. Much better. Much better.
So yes, replace it with a knife and say that having a knife can cause you to cut yourself, but it is also useful for cutting certain things.
Much better. Much better. Much better. Okay, and then again,
but
one more question.
Go and study analogies. Still, I challenge you, go and I'll follow up on it. Nitakuuliza over the course of the weekend. On Sunday, I'll ask you, Moroki, have you read up on analogies? Versus the red herring fallacy. You have to read up. You have to understand analogies, please.
Okay, but that you agree, a gun you want extreme. That was extreme. A gun is extreme. A gun is just bad. That's a killing tool. That's a tool for killing. Okay, then another question I want to ask you is this September 11, that was for the aeroplanes. Now, Muslims love Muslims. Now, these people, they went into the aeroplanes. Now, those aeroplanes, maybe they had Muslims in the aeroplanes. Those buildings they crashed into, and maybe there are Muslims there. So in the Quran, if they knew that would happen, I'm sure they would stop it, because they kill Muslims also. In the aeroplanes, maybe there are Muslims. In the buildings, maybe there are Muslims. So you're also killing Muslims. So that's why I say it's modern and dangerous, because they kill Muslims too. I'm not defending them. It's not defense. They're also killing their own kind. Because if you don't know who you're killing, if you go to a building and blow up, you don't know who's there. There will be Christians, Buddhists, Muslims. So you kill your own kind. So in the Quran, it was only kill the ones who aren't Muslims. With a bomb, you kill Muslims also. So it doesn't work. Thanks.
Can I respond kidogo Stano to that? You see, the Quran also has verses which which tell you that it is a good thing to die for Allah. Because when you die for Allah as a martyr, you will get 72 virgins. So it is not a charitable thing they are doing. They are basing it on that Quran and the promises they have in the afterlife. That is a key determinant behind terrorism. So it's not a justification in any way. I don't even know why you brought it up. These casualties that die, to them they think it's martyrdom. They think they are dying for Allah, and it's a good thing. And that's only possible because they believe in falsehoods in their holy time.
Doctors, are you sure there are no Muslims in the Europe? Are you sure there are no Muslims there in the buildings? Are you sure there are no Muslims?
They know, and they don't care, because they're looking at the bigger cause. They're looking at the bigger cause. Like in September 11th, they knew that there are more non-Muslims than Muslims. They knew that this is collateral damage. This is collateral damage. So to them, it was a small price to pay for the bigger picture, which is defending the Muslim cause.
But
so
if you kill a Muslim,
it's neither nor there. So what?
If you kill a Muslim, it's wrong.
To them, Apana? No. To them, it is collateral damage. It's small fry compared to the bigger picture, which is all the hundreds of thousands of people that are heathens, that are non-believers. It's a small price. It's neither here nor there. Does that make it okay? Does that make?
I'm saying
so it's irrelevant. Your argument is irrelevant. It doesn't make it okay. At the end of the day, they used their holy text to justify the mass murder of people. It doesn't matter whether they were Muslims or there were some few Muslim casualties or not. At the end of the day, they killed many people because of their faith. You can't deny that.
Doctor, true. Let me complete. In olden days, they used to target non-Muslims. So they used to go to a village and know these are non-Muslims. They take weapons and kill them. But now in an aeroplane, in a bomb, you would know who you're killing. That's what I'm saying. That's a modern idea that works against them. Because in the past, they used to target non-Muslims. They know you're a Christian, I'll kill you. But now if you go to a building and blow yourself up and you kill Muslims, that beats the purpose. That's my point. That's an idea that's modern. It came just the other day from modern people. In the past, it was a knife and a Christian. You see a Christian, you kill them. Now you don't know who you're killing anymore with a suicide bomb. You don't know who you're killing, so you'll kill your own kind. Thanks.
Okay, fine, Morioki. So, although before suicide bomber do something, they first investigate to know where they needed or they are needed, or where they can kill the maximum of their target. So you cannot expect the suicide bomber to go to Islamic places and die with the Muslim. They just target where there is non-Muslim, or if there is Muslim, those who don't believe what they believe in. So they know the places where they can do those things. Yeah.
In America, there are Muslims nowadays. In America, there are Muslims. Even in Westgate, even in Kenya, it's dangerous because you'll kill your own kind. You'll kill your own kind, Stano.
I think you are not understanding me very clearly. For example, if I want to kill people who are not from my tribe, I know the places where to target. Does not mean those places that I will target, there is no people from my tribe. There might be, but very few. Majority will be from none in my tribe. So I know where to target. So even those suicide bomber, they know where to target. Even if they kill maybe one Muslim or two Muslim, they know majority, over 90% will be non-Muslim. And their target is to please their Allah or their God according to what they believe in. May not be necessarily be about the Quran, but what they believe in.
But Stano, if you kill a Muslim, it's a mistake. If you kill a Muslim, you're going against Allah. If you kill a Muslim or even a convert, there could be a convert who's being converted, a new convert. Like in America, there could be a new convert, and you kill him also. You don't know if he's changing his face.
Yeah, maybe it's a mistake, but if you kill the kafiri, more kafiri, you will get more you want.
But in a Muslim,
it will compensate for that. Or you are God will understand that you are not aware, because you targeted the places where you expect there is no Muslim.
So in the past they used to use machetes, so they used to know non-Muslims in the past. They used to know who you are. Now you don't know who you're killing. That's my point.
Yeah, I understand your point. Let's hear from Deve.
Wow, that is this has gotten hot very quickly. Let me start by saying that it is not true that Muslims don't kill Muslims. In fact, many who suffer from the violence of Islam are other Muslims. You are Sunni, and you are not. Which is the other big sect? You are dead. Shia, yeah, Shia and Sunni, they don't see eye to eye. So you cannot say that they are only supposed to. Maybe the Quran says that they are to kill the kafir, but those lines have been blurred. The same way the lines are also in Christianity have become blurred, and that is why we are able to live with religion. Otherwise, if they were to follow strictly what the book says, we wouldn't be able to live. They'll just wipe us out, because that is what the book says. And also the Bible. If you look at Luke chapter 19, verse, I think it is Luke chapter 19, verse 27. And Jesus calls for the murder of non-believers. He says, bring them here and kill them in front of me. Well, That is for non-believers. So the fact that we are living peacefully with the Christians as non-Christians or as Muslims, it is because they do not follow. They don't follow what they have been taught to do. They do not follow the fact that you are supposed to, whatever you are supposed to do a kid. I can't say that because the little girl is over there. They don't follow strictly what the Bible says, the Old and the New Testament. They don't follow, because the Bible says that I did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. So it is the new and the old you have to follow. So if they were to follow the old and the new, it would be very hard to live with the Christians, because that is what the Crusaders did. They followed Christianity and they went. They took their swords and they went and they converted people by the sword. The Muslims faced it. So the same with the Muslims. Let me tell you something that happens in Gaza between the Israelites and the people they are always fighting with. This is what happens. They put, again, little girl, just go to bed. They put hospitals for children or schools in the line deliberately, so that when Israel comes, and because if the people run into a school or run into a hospital, well, what is going to happen to the hospital? It's going to be bombed into smithereens, and then they say, oh, look at what they did. They bombed our children, but you put them in the line of fire. So why, if somebody can put little kids in the line of fire, what about adults flying in an aeroplane? It just doesn't matter. It's just another day in the time of an extremist. And to add more to my disrespect to religion, I disrespect them because they do not follow the word exactly, and that's why I'm alive. I also disrespect them because, as far as the Muslim world is concerned, almost 40% support extremism. When extremism happens, and there's a survey, about 40% say that is okay. Another 60%, or 62 to 38, they say, oh, that is not acceptable. There's no reason to use this kind of force. So yes, there is still a 40% out there that are extremists, and you cannot have any respect. If there's a 40% in the population, you can't respect them. There's no threshold at which I can respect them. I'll just say that all of you, forget it. There has to be at least 80% of you saying it is unacceptable. And then then we will say, okay, yeah, you are trading in a good area. Christianity is trading in a better area, because maybe the age of Christianity, and then Europe went through all those these evolutions and put religion where it belongs, and says religion is a personal thing, and therefore Christianity underwent that kind of. But don't blink; it could come back to some strange situations. It's not over yet. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, I also wanted us to highlight further the part of where religion can do which we cannot respect. So, some of the things that religion does that is not worthy of respect, or is worthy for us to criticize. I was also looking about. I was looking about the whether is it a crime to tell someone you don't go to hell, you are the sinner and you go to hell. And I find that is very controversial. Somehow can be a criminal, can be a offense, and somehow can be okay. It depends on how they say it. That is what I was trying to look about it. So, Morioki?
Thanks. Yeah, I think Doc has asked a question earlier on. How do you respect something? So for me, an answer, how do you respect something is like if you're in a bus, then a preacher comes and starts preaching. Just keep quiet. Don't bother him. Let him preach, and he comes out. Don't interrupt him. So that way you're showing him respect. Or even if somebody comes to you like a Jehovah's Witness to your house to preach to you, a Jehovah's Witness, just tell him that you don't believe in a polite way. Don't be rude or arrogant. That's how you respect religion for me. And also for me, I'll talk about Islam. Like since I'm very anti-music, so like now Muslims they're very against music. So like now it's called haram. So like now when PDD is accused of so many crimes, I respect them because they're against music. Then the top positions are always falling. So again, I respect them. Then again, our last point, Ndeve. I think this idea of bombing came from, you see, in the past, nowadays you can't kill with a knife anymore because there are laws, there are codes of law and everything. So you can't take a knife and kill somebody. So the idea of bombing came from that they can't go killing with knives anymore. So it's better to go with a bomb and kill people so that you won't be caught. So it came from, it's a modern time. So my point is, you can't say that it's in the Quran because now if you kill with a knife, you'll be arrested. So they decide, let's go into an aeroplane and go into a building because they'll get away with it. So that's my point. Now you can't do what happened in the Quran times because there's a law. Thanks.
But their own children are Muslims, right?
Which children?
When they set up their own children to be killed, to be bombed by Israel, SDF, IDF, or Israel Defense Forces.
That's okay. That's wrong. That's very wrong. That's wrong. But in the Quran times, it was kill non-Muslims, kill non-Muslims only. But now you kill anybody, so it doesn't work. You kill anyone, you just blow yourself up in a building. You kill everyone, a Muslim, a new convert. There could be somebody there who's a new convert who will die also. So this one, it doesn't work because it's modern. Thanks.
Okay, fine. So I think Morioki, just the way Dorcas saying, you needed to know how to argue and also to stand about the analogy so that you may able to know how to press your argument without any kind of the fallacy, because I can sense some few fallacy in you when you are talking about we are using the knife, but today we are using the bomb. So it's not the same as what the Quran have intended. So, and you say about the respect, when you talk about the Muslim, they don't like music. What if I have a music and there is Muslim? Will that prove I'm not respecting my fellow Muslim? Morioki.
What? Just
I have a
question.
music. Then nearby there is Muslim and they don't like music. Will that mean I'm not respecting them? I'm disrespecting.
Is it loud? If it's loud, it will be. If it's too loud, if it's it depends on the volume. How is the volume?
Maybe we are in the same room.
Yeah.
I wanted a music. Will that be a disrespect to them?
Okay. If he complains and you continue,
They don't complain.
No, if you don't complain, it's okay. But if he complains, there'll be some issues there.
Okay, let's hear from Dorcas. It's fine.
Okay, I'll start with Morioki again. Morioki, you are the most superstitious atheist I have ever met and the most conservative. Where? Me, I don't even know you became an atheist, honestly. The way you reason, I wonder. It is it is the eighth wonder of the world for Morioki to have managed to overcome his superstitious thinking enough to realize there's no God. Because the way you look at things, that one of suicide bombers, I already gave you my response, but you're repeating the same thing. And I'm telling you, the method doesn't matter. Whether they use knives or suicide bombs, it doesn't matter. What matters is the Quran sanctions the killing of infidels. It's the killing, it's not the method that matters, it's just killing. That's what it sanctions. It's up to your own ingenuity to use whichever method. So you mustn't lose the point. The point is that their religion is causing them to take away the lives of other people. Even this other point you keep bringing up of other Muslims that have been killed is neither here nor there. What matters bottom line is they're relying on their holy text to take away the lives of others. It doesn't matter whether they shouldn't do it or whether it happens. It happens. They're not as puritanical as you are, those terrorists. They don't care. They're doing it nonetheless. That doesn't mean that it's not their religion that's sanctioning this. So let's end this. It seems you are adamant about your position. You're not seeing the rationale behind what we are saying. So let's just leave that point alone. Now, you also mentioned something about music. You said you respect Muslims because of the fact that they don't allow music. And that is draconian. That is infringing on people's freedoms and rights. This is another key problem I have with religion in general. By the way, I would like to plug us in. If you're on TikTok, please follow us. We are, I think, Team Skeptics. That is our name. And I made 2 videos for TikTok about the harms of religion. I mentioned 5 harms of religion in the first one, and then I talked about 5 more harms. And one of the harms, I think it was the 6th one that I mentioned in that TikTok, was that religion controls your life based on ideas from the Bronze Age. It controls your life. It takes away your liberty. It tells you which kind of food to eat. Don't eat pork. Don't take coffee. Don't eat leavened bread for the Jews. You know, this is all based on some superstition, some claim that somebody was speaking on behalf of God. It's not empirically backed. It tells you how to dress. It tells you how to interact with others, and it tells you what kind of music you can listen to and what kind of music you can't listen to. In Christianity, at least, they say listen to gospel music, don't listen to secular music. But in Islam, they throw away the baby with the bathwater and tell you don't listen to any music at all. That's draconian. What right do you have to tell me what kind of music to listen to? And all the reasons Morioki has been preaching this gospel, it's the hill he wants to die on our WhatsApp group, that music is evil. That is your hypothesis. It's irrational and unfounded. I'm sorry. I will not go along with it. And let's not even go into that debate. We gave you an entire Zoom meeting to tell us about music, and let's not get into it. Because it's baseless, it's irrational for you to demonize music. You need to speak against the music industry and celebrity culture, because that's where the problem is, and it's not unique to music only. We have movies, we even have politics where there's the problem of celebrity. So we just need to change the industry, but not the people, because a majority of musicians, almost over 90% of musicians, don't have a problem. It's those few bad apples. So your logic for hating music doesn't hold water. So even your logic for supporting Muslims who ban music doesn't hold water. For me, what I see is an attempt to manipulate and control people, to tell people how to live their lives so that you have power over them. That's a terrible thing. I cannot respect that idea. And so I have answered Stano's question on another example of reasons not to respect religion. That is an example, the fact that it controls people's lives. It controls your social life, it controls your sex life. It tells you who and who you can't have sex with. So it demonizes premarital sex. It demonizes divorce. Jesus says that if you marry a divorced woman, you have committed adultery, and it's just such an unrealistic standard. So I don't support the idea of controlling people's lives. Let people have the freedom to make choices in their own lives, and do not interfere with it as a religious group. Let me also add one more aspect, one more disadvantage, or one more idea from religion, which I do not respect. I've mentioned several during the course of this meeting. I've talked about gender inequality. How we always forget the women. I have talked about gender inequality. I've talked about terrorism, cultic death. I've talked about apostasy laws and blasphemy laws. The fact that it is illegal for you to speak anything negative about religions. Those are ideas I cannot respect, because they're oppressive to me, and they're also oppressive to the people in those religions. As a humanist, as someone who cares about human well-being, I cannot stay silent when I'm seeing my fellow women suffering in religion. I have to speak against it. So there's also this idea of the us versus them mentality. I think religion, the way it has been set up, is it makes the assumption that you are special for believing what you believe. So if you are a Christian and you are a Seventh-day Adventist, the Seventh-day Adventist preachers will tell themselves that we are special because as we follow all the commandments, including keeping the Sabbath holy. So they'll say all the other people, the Catholics, the Pentecostals, the African Inland Church, etc., all of them are evil, but us guys are special. We are the ones who are on the right track. So it causes those divisions amongst each other. And because of those divisions, because of the belief that you are special, it encourages members not to interact with each other, not to marry people from other faiths. Do not be unequally yoked. And that is also evident in Islam. In Islam, you are not allowed to marry a non-Muslim. You must convert first before you become a Muslim. So in other words, they're imposing their values on you in order for you guys to interact, to marry or to be intimate with each other. And that isn't a force for good. I cannot advocate for that kind of tribalism in our society. What we need are things that bring us together, things that focus on our humanity. Yes, I know I've spoken a lot, as is the norm. Let me leave it there. Thank you. Oh, I've not answered my question, but I've spoken too much. Let me just leave it there.
Thank you. Let's hear from Deve.
Yeah. Okay. So respect. What is respect, or rather, how do we show it? Somebody walks into a room and everybody goes quiet and they listen to what that person has to say. And we take into account and we act upon what that person has said. Now, this is where I see a danger in respecting the wrong people. Shakahola, ring a bell. Jim Jones. So, the problem with the respect is when it is placed on the wrong people. If you respect somebody so much, like when we were children, I mean, you were told, run, go get me whatever it is, and we ran and went and got it, even if it's a stick to come and beat you, you went and got it. So that, yeah, please, when you put that respect on the wrong person, it is going to get messy, and people could be harmed irreversibly. So I'm just saying that, well, maybe I'm just irreverent. That's I'll go back. I'm an irreverent kind of a person. So show me, before I can respect something, show me why I should do that. So yeah, while we can respect, we have to know why we should respect, and if there is any iota of some reason why we should not respect and obey and do what they say, you don't do it for your own life. You don't do it. Okay, so let me come back to, I think I've already, maybe I will also mention Christianity too now, with Islam in the 8th century, I think 8th to the 14th century. They were ruling algebra and they were ruling the stars, the heavens. They were already looking up. Arabic people were looking up into the sky, into the stars, and they were looking and they're naming stars and they were doing algebra. Then somebody comes up that suspiciousness of religions, particularly I think Abraham, Islam and Christianity. There's a lot of suspicion, witchcraft and all that, believe in things like those. I don't know about Buddhism and Shintoism and all those other religions. So somebody comes up and they respected him. Poor people, they respected him. He said that numbers are suspicious. Numbers are suspicious. So algebra was relegated, was just nobody would do algebra because people were suspicious of numbers and all that. And with that went the science of the stars. They stopped looking at the stars because you have to do some calculations when you're looking at the stars. You're going to do some calculations. Some calculus might be necessary to relate bodies that are far away with other bodies that are far away in relation to where you are. So that went just like that because of religion. And in case you think that was the 8th to the 14th century, I have got something else for you, that it happens even up to today. Just have respect, enough respect of your religion and your religious person, your mullah, your pastor, your priest, and bad things are going to happen. You're going to find people, talking about, I don't know, witchcraft, or, something that has, they say somebody's sick, that all of a sudden they got cancer. It's witchcraft. You take the person to the doctor, forget about witchcraft, go to the doctor. But if they respect the person that is saying that enough, that person is not going to get good, medical aid. That child is not going to be taken to the doctor, and that child could suffer. Yeah. So that is not. It is like I'm saying. It is not just Islam. It's the same thing with Christianity, that people get stunted. So the Arab world got stunted, and it was because of religion that they got stunted. Imagine from the 8th century, they were doing algebra. Where do you think we would be with our science today? Because the other guys, because in the 8th century, they were still fighting each other, and it was the Dark Ages out in Europe. And it took the Europeans to start that and come up all the way to open up things and studies, while the Arabs were already, could have done this with a lot of time, time ahead, but they couldn't because of religion. So for religion to be respected, we really need to have a very high threshold, because we know that they stand people. You have just to go to a church today and see people drinking jik, then you will know that the threshold of respect has to be really, really high. Because why would a church of 100 people, like a church full of 100 adults, drink jik? And even jik is not good for hands. Forget about your mouth. So why would those people be drinking it? Or paraffin, or Lord help us, or gas, like petrol. Why? What has something is happening for people to do that when they know that it's a dangerous thing? Even mafuta ya taa, you can't, you are not safe with it. You can't drink it. So to go ahead and drink petrol or jik because your pastor said so, what does that say? It says that you have given your respect to someone that does not deserve it, and they are going to abuse it, and you're going to be in trouble. So no, you only respect enough to live with them, just like having a snake in the house. So unakaa on the tail side, you never stay on the head side. You're always on the lookout in case they get empowered, more empowerment. Because with the numbers, if the numbers are big enough, the whole country can go away, can go, because you have got enough numbers. Hey, look at what happened in 2022. You got enough numbers. Somebody came and cried loudly enough. They shed tears. I think it was in a church. They shed tears in a church, and everybody said, oh, this one is the blessed of God. Give the vote. Today, you know that it was a dangerous step to make. It was a lethal person that you were dealing with. And I think we are there again. Another person is crying for sympathy. And guess what? We are going to give that sympathy, and we are going to start the vicious cycle all over again. So, people, no. Religion, no. It's not. I don't know what they would take to earn my respect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Deve. So on that, I can remember about there is an MP who commented by saying, even God cannot stop the impeachment of Gachagua. And that people come up with many reactions, saying that MP is mocking God and he don't get the punishment. And they try to give the example, somebody mocked the gun and he was killed, somebody do this and he was killed. So I don't know what we can say about that reaction. So we see people are still trying to impose or try to use the religion as a defense system. So I want, as we conclude, I also somebody or we can comment about what the Africa are saying. USA is forcing us or is forcing LGBTQ to Africa, or those who are not religious people, they are trying to impose the LGBTQ to Kenya, which is a Christian country, or Uganda, which is a Christian country, among the other Africa country. Can we say that it's also disrespecting the Africans by trying to enforce LGBTQ, or it's just a propaganda by saying we are enforcing LGBTQ to Africa? Murioki, you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Tano. For the LGBTQ, my view is these people are human beings. They shouldn't be judged. They should be respected, but they need to be told if they can change what they do. Yeah, because I still believe in this thing of you can be born with some deficiency in your system that makes you behave in a way that will cause you problems, like transgenderism, all these things. So they need to be helped by not judged or discrimination. They should be helped and understood to see if they can change what they do. That's my view. With respect, again, they should be respected. Yeah, but told, can you change? They can be helped to change their wiring. Maybe something went wrong somewhere with their genes, their parents, or something. Then yeah, that's my on that. Then for doctors, I want to add respecting something. Respect something, like maybe you're in a room, then people pray, and they say you stand up. You can stand up to show respect. You can be an unbeliever, but if you still stand for prayers, you can stand up also, just to show that you respect them. And also, yeah, in a room, and people start praying, you can stay in the room. Don't walk out. Just stay in the room as they pray. Because now if you walk out, it'll be like you're showing disrespect. Yeah, thanks. Enough doctors, there's also good music here. There is good music around which exists. So me, I choose the good music. Thanks.
On that, Morioki, do you expect, for example, when you say about you don't believe whether there is God, and then you find people are moving out, is that a proof they also disrespect you? For example, what happened on Murorongo? Some people decided to move out and they call us devil worshiper. Is that kind of not? Is that kind not respecting us?
Yeah, those ones left because they so like we are devils. What I'm saying, you could be in a room of Christians and they say, let's pray. You can stay in the room to show respect. If they say stand, you can just stand and show respect. That's what I'm saying.
What were you doing in that room initially?
No, it happens. Like when you meet and you go to a meeting, you find they're all Christians. They say, let's offer out of prayer. Just stay. Or
that means you are not the one who went to that room. All of you find yourself in that room. So you can just do whatever you want.
Yes.
Not just follow them. Because you find yourself there and they found themselves there. But if you are the one who maybe you went to a church, you can follow their protocol. But if it's a scenario that meant all of you at once, no need to respect them by doing what they want you to do or they are doing. So it depends with the environment.
Yeah, like when my dad was getting sick, we saw prayers at our house. We had prayers at our house. So they used to come and pray. I used to be there. I just sit down with them. I show them I respect what they believe. Even if I don't believe.
Were you praying with them?
No,
or
no,
you are
no,
watching them? Yeah, that is what I'm saying. To them, they may think you are disrespecting them.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll be in the room and just be with them with no objection. That's respecting them.
Yeah, let's hear from Deve.
Thank you. On LGBTQ, I am surprised when Muriuki says that they change their ways. This is how I think about it. I hope that is open-minded enough. The way I think is that at puberty, like when at puberty, I stopped being a child, I changed into a teenager. It was assumed, even myself, I assumed, and I did not know what puberty was, that I was a girl. So I would go follow all the protocols, periods and breasts and all that, and the whole works of becoming a woman, a woman. What if it didn't happen that way? No, maybe no periods, no breasts or whatever, and my voice becomes deep, and like even campermen don't even have deep voices. And what if my voice became deep, and everything led to I have a beard or something like that? What could I do about it? Nothing. So you have to understand that LGBTQ is not about a choice. It's about something that happens to people in puberty. And we don't have any control over that. So, I've seen one girl, and she was just as girly as you will ever want to be, but she had a beard. So she can't do anything about that. So now, with LGBTQ and somebody coming to tell us that it is an African for us to recognize LGBTQ, that is another sign of religion, of what is wrong with the religion. So closed-minded that they are not able to see where the studies and where the biology says that your child that has been a little girl or that has been a little boy at puberty, you just hope that it continues being a boy. So what do we know about the data? The data says about 10% of every population, of any population, it doesn't matter, and it does not care whether you are an African or you are Mkamba deep in, say, Kulu out in Kitui, where nobody knows about data and about LGBTQ. They are there. Only they have to lie low like envelopes because we are going to kill them. If they come up and they say, me, I am interested in guys. He's a guy and he says he's interested in guys. You know what we are going to do with him? We are going to stone him because how dare he? He's a man. How can he be interested in men? All that kind of thing. They are there and they are lying low. And I always say about my family, I have nobody that I suspect. And I have not seen anybody that I can say, oh, who you are gonna suggest. I have a big family and I know that maybe one of them or two of them are just lying low because they don't think that we will accept them. They are there. It could be my mother, it could be my father, it could be my brother, it could be my sister, my cousins, but they are there. They are there in our society, and please, the only reason they are suffering is they're suffering because they're hiding from us because we would kill them. We would harm them. Thank you. So for somebody to say that it is the Americans who are forcing it on us, it's just hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy of our religion. That's it. Yeah. So thank you. The religion has refused us, has failed, cannot allow us to think deeply about it and accept the facts. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Dorcas? Dorcas, it's your turn.
Oh, sorry, I was tilting my screen. The moment it tilts, it hangs. Time for a new upgrade. People, my birthday is coming soon. If you're thinking of getting me a birthday gift, a phone would be great. Now, I have to respond to something Morioki said because, okay, Morioki, you still need to learn critical thinking skills. I think that is an area of weakness you have. You still have to sharpen it. Now, you mentioned that aspect of you listening to music, but good music with a positive message. You don't wholesale banish music. You say that you listen to good music. Now, I put that if you were Muslim countries headed by the Taliban, Afghanistan, Iraq, but even not even just those ones that are headed by the Taliban, predominantly Muslim countries, places like Saudi, etc., they wouldn't care about that nuance. They wouldn't say that it's okay, you can listen to music if it is positive or if it is religious music, but not secular music. No, then they outrightly ban it. That is why I'm saying it is a controlling mechanism. It infringes on our freedom. Not only do they prevent you from listening to music, some of them say technology is bad. David gave the example of how Mohammed was suspicious of numbers. Now, there are others who say technology is a problem and they ban technology. You cannot access the internet. You cannot access all the benefits that we enjoy right now, including this Zoom meeting. If you belonged to a predominantly Muslim radical country, they also forbid you from going to school. Woman, there was this Nobel Prize winner Malala, who was fighting for Pakistani girls' rights to an education. Those religious extremists say that is haram. It is haram. It was not defined in the Quran, so it is bad, and we must forbid it. They've taken it to the extreme now. There was even that post where women cannot even talk, that their voices will tempt men. So that's the problem. When you start policing how people live their lives, it is, sorry to use this word, a slippery slope. Often the slippery slope is called, it can be a fallacy if you're using an unrelated item. But if it is related, if that is the logical conclusion, then it's not a slippery slope fallacy. It is actually a real slippery slope. That is the danger of condoning religious sanctions like that, forbidding music. Yeah, there's no telling where it can go. They can forbid so many things. So that's what I wanted to say. Then there's also another thing you said, Morioki, about the LGBTQ being biologically deficient and it being their fault, that something went wrong somewhere, so they should stop doing what they're doing. Oh no, you are wrong. You are wrong. There's nothing wrong with being gay. It is a normal sexual variant which is observed in 10% of mammals or higher primates. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong. And the basis for secular morality to judge whether something is wrong is on whether it causes harm. Homosexuality to anybody. We addressed all of the myths surrounding that aspect. So there's nothing wrong with them. That is a religious thing. Now, that segues to what some Africans are saying about the LGBTQ, and they're saying that it is being imposed on us. I echo their sentiments, and this is just how they came out. There's nothing with them. We've always had gay people that they were on the down low because they knew that they would be punished for their existence. We were intolerant. Westerners from Europe and America are trying to fight for human rights. They are on the right side of history. We are on the wrong side of history as Africans who want to pretend that these people don't exist or they are immoral. No, that couldn't be further from the truth. So gayism is just another human variant of our sexuality. And it is evident in 10% of higher level primates. Additionally, even transgenderism has always been there. We might not have developed terminology for it, but it's always been there. We've always had girls who are very masculine, tomboyish. They like, you give them a doll and you give them a tractor to play with, and they will go with the tractor. If it is playing house, you give them a choice between playing house or climbing trees, the girl will choose to climb trees because that's just who she is. Yeah, of course, I've told you guys before that there's a line I draw when it comes to transgenderism when transgender people compete in women's sports or they enter women's only spaces like prisons simply by identifying that somebody just identifies as being female when they have an intact penis, and then they go to a women's prison and they were convicted for sexual crimes. That is not rational. I do not support that aspect. But their right to exist, the right for somebody who just does not follow normal or conventional gender roles. It's their right. There's just a guy, for him, he likes to wear tight tops and he just likes to paint his nails. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not abnormal, it's not immoral, it's not harming anyone. We are the ones who are harming them by denying them the right to exist. So no, the Westerners did not impose it on us. We always had the LGBTQ among us. The only thing they're trying to change is to fight for their human rights, for their rights to exist. That's my take. I don't know, should I give my concluding remarks? Just two sentences?
Wait. You'll conclude as you end the meeting. Let's hear from Juliana.
Okay.
And before that, we also hear about the religious people saying we are not respecting them because every time we are attacking their beliefs. So as we give our final comment, we cannot, if you get chance, you can also talk about that, whether we are disrespecting them when we are attacking their belief or when we are talking about what they believe in.
Thank you, everyone. So I've sort of forgotten what I was going to say, but I can actually probably ask a question, and it all goes back to the LGBTQ issue. I have always wanted to know why people are so concerned about what people do in their bedrooms. Why are they so concerned if their neighbor is sleeping with a girl or a boy? Why are they concerned? This neighbor is not coming into their bed to sleep with the girl or the boy. So why are people always so concerned? I've never been able to understand why. And maybe because I'm just naive, but I've never been able to understand why. And so the other thing is people now feel like the LGBTQ is being pushed. I think the term was being pushed onto Africans. It's the same, I'm getting the same feeling like when I did in my 60s and when I was growing up. This was late 60s and early 70s. Now I was very young then, but these were the days of the women's movement. And it had just come to Kenya. And I recall my parents talking, like I was probably 4 or 5 years old, but I could hear them talking about, oh, these white people, they're coming and pushing, telling our women that they're better than them, what's wrong with them, we don't want this. I could hear even my dad and his friends talking about this. This was all about the women's movement. So anytime this is what I'm feeling that's happening right now. We have this group that is fighting for its rights. People that have been normal are feel like they're threatened, and therefore they're trying to push back, just like the men then pushed back. Not that they're doing it right now, not that they're not doing it right now, but it's less so now than it was before. Like I can recall, I never ever saw a woman doctor until I came to Canada. This was 30 years ago. There were no women doctors, maybe where I went to, because women cannot become doctors, cannot become engineers. I never saw that, especially for women's doctors, until I came to Canada. So I was used to being treated by male doctors because there was a push not to give equality to women or not to encourage women to go into medicine. So what we are going through with the LGBTQ is what I'm feeling is the same way we went through when women were fighting for their rights. And again, back to my question is, what do I care who my neighbor is sleeping with if they're not coming into my house and sleeping with that person in there? That's something I've never, ever, ever been able to understand. So on the other one, I think you talk about respecting religious people. When you go to their house, you pray. Absolutely not. No. When I go to a religious person's house and they want to pray, I will excuse myself. I'll say, I'm just going to step aside. I will come back when you're done. I should not have to compromise how I'm feeling, because they won't do that when they come to my house. They'll probably come to my house and say, hey, can we pray? And I'll say, fine, but I'm going to step outside. So anytime we sort of allow these things to happen, we propagate.
You are lost?
Something is wrong with your audio, Juliana.
Oh, can you still hear me now? Is this okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Oh, I must have brought it too close by. Okay. So yes, praying in workplace, that is a no-no. Seriously. If people want to pray, and actually come to think of it, when I worked my previous job, we had Muslims and they wanted to pray 5 times a day. And you know what we did? We set aside a room for them. We say, you want to pray 5 times a day? Go upstairs to that room and pray. We are not going to stop our work so that you can pray 5 times a day. If you are especially Catholic, like if you are Catholic and you have to go to work, no, you have to go to Mass, I think that's the Holy Week, so you can't work overtime, go and find and make up the time. We're just not going to give you 2 hours to go for Mass and that's it. No. Go for 2 hours, give us the 2 hours. Are you going to take vacation off, or are you going to come in and work on Saturday, work your 2 hours? So that's how it should be. Like, I will respect a religion that respects the wishes of other people who may or may not be religious. Same thing goes with the Buddhist. Because some of my friends are Buddhists. When I go to their house, Buddhists, they sort of like to make a shrine. It's actually quite beautiful. They have the Buddha there. They have some fruit or some cookies somewhere in a corner of a room. When I go, but she's not asking me to go and worship that Buddha place there. When I go to actually the lady who does my nails, she's a Buddhist. And so in her shop, she has a Buddhist thing there, and it's okay. I respect that she's not telling us to do it. She's just saying, this is who I believe. I respect that, and it's okay. She's not giving me a service because I'm not Buddhist. No, that's neither here or there. So I will respect somebody's religion if they respect my views. And if they don't, then I will not. And the worst people are the Catholics. Oh my God, the Catholics. But anyway, I used to be a Catholic. I'm going to stop there. And there's a reason why I left Catholic, and I'm so glad. So for respect of religion, if you respect me, myself as a person, I will respect you. If you don't respect me, I will not respect you. And as for LGBTQ, I don't understand why people are so concerned about this. And this is something that this person chooses to do. But that is me. Maybe I'm being naive. Thank you very much. I forget the other question, but I'll perhaps come to it if I get a chance.
You
Thanks.
can
Back to
comment,
Stefano.
Juliana. You can finish.
Yeah.
You can finish it by saying, I ask about what about the religious when they say we are also not respecting them when we attack what they believe in, or no, when we talk about their religion.
Oh, I guess the perception seems that way because all of a sudden we as a minority have been given a voice to express ourselves. So it seems like they're being attacked, but they are not being attacked. Now, if I was probably in Kenya, I would say something like, hey, look at the schools that you have. Look at the hospitals that you have. They're all religious, they're religious-based hospitals, religious-based schools. You get funding from the government, or you get charities, both local and overseas, to support your causes. Me as an atheist, I don't. I even have to fight for my own registration. So how do you say we are pushing against you? It doesn't make sense. All we are fighting for is the right to exist and enjoy all the full rights, like everyone else, without imposing. So I think it's a matter of perception, and it's a matter of feeling scared, wary, because all of a sudden there is this group of people that can now speak up, and they're now forced to listen. They can't put it under the carpet, just like the LGBTQ people now. Now they have a voice, now they can talk, now we have to listen to them. So it's a matter of perception is what I would tell them.
I beg you. So anyone else who want to comment? Okay, Morioki, we are finalizing.
Thanks, Tanu. In fact, for me, I'm for the idea. Like, I avoid debates nowadays. I avoid debates because when you have debates, they keep on looking for things in the Bible to counterattack. But the Bible has two sides. So you'll say this, then they get another verse that supports them. That's why I got tired of debating. So I believe in the idea of we do good things, then they watch us and say, these people are okay. We just do good. They can observe us. Instead of going to debate with them, they see how we behave. They say we are good, then they'll take notice. Because these debates, they make it worse. They become even stronger in their faith. They resist more. When you debate, they resist more. Then I also want to ask Dr. a question. There are gays and lesbians who have changed. If some of them, they get born again, then they stop being lesbian or gay. So I want to ask doctors, what happens there? Then the last point is, I want to be understood. What I meant was, in this suicide bombing, when you kill, there could be a new convert, somebody who's about to become a Muslim, then you kill him. So my point is, if the Quran people knew this would happen, I'm sure they have changed the verses. They never knew that people will come with an idea of killing people because you will kill your own kind. That's my point. So don't connect the suicide bombing with the Quran. Thanks.
Okay, fine, Morioki. So somehow controversial. Okay, fine. About let's hear from Dorcas and Deve. And don't want to comment more about what Morioki you have said.
So I will start with some things Morioki said initially, the other time, even before he went to this one. Always controversial, this Morioki. Now, you had talked about respect. Your perspective on respect is when believers pray, you stay in the room and you just go along with it. You don't walk out of the room. That's a sign of respect. And I am against that idea because to me, it is an indication of the controlling ways, the privileged status of the religious, that they have the right to impose their values on you, their practices on you. They decide, you know what, we are going to pray. This is for us. It's our religious requirement to pray. And someone who doesn't hold the same belief is required to play along. How is that fair? How is that just? No, I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would just leave the room, especially if it is some sort of workplace or it's a public space. Public spaces should be separate from religious activities. However, if I go to a funeral or a funeral service, a church service, a funeral service in a church, or if I go to a church, a school that was built by the church, a Catholic school, I know that is their platform. Yeah, that is their platform, and there's nothing I can do about it. Like when I went to my niece's Catholic school, she was taken to a Catholic school because her parents don't mind. Her parents are religious, right? So I didn't have a say in it. I went there and there was some prayer here and there, but there was also other things in the program. So I tolerated it because I know that is their world, that is their institution. But if it is a public space, we have the right to separate a church from state. So it is actually a sign of religious privilege that these people get you to play along with it. And what that means in that regard is I don't respect religion. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And the reason why I don't respect religion is because it is founded on delusional ideas. I cannot respect a delusional idea. The delusional idea is the main problem. It's the one that is causing all these issues. All those harms we've listed throughout this Zoom meeting, they are coming from the fact that the idea is delusional. It is false. So I can't respect it. I can't respect it, especially when it is within the public space. So that's what I had to say on the issue of prayer. Now, on the question that, no, let me, before answering Nani's question, Stano's question, let me respond to Juliana, who asked us, why are we concerned about what people are doing in the privacy of their homes or their bedrooms in particular? I think, let me speak for them, and I'm not in any way justifying it. I think it is irrational for people to be so concerned about policing the LGBTQ. This came up this week, ironically. Hey, what a coincidence. This came up this week. Our caretaker came to my house to fix my main switch. It had a crackling sound. I think there was a loose wire somewhere, and I was panicking that it will start a fire when I'm asleep. So I called the caretaker to come and fix it. Now, our caretaker is very gossipy. So he tells me what's going on all around, all around the compound. And he told me about a neighbor opposite me. I didn't know. I was clueless. I thought that's her sister, that those people are lesbians. They are lesbians, and my neighbors are lesbians. All right? And I asked him, how do you know? He told me, number one of them is very masculine. She dresses, she wears boxers. She's very tomboyish. She smokes weed. She likes football, even liking football is manly, according to our caretaker. So I think you cannot believe that that's a woman when you look at her, the way she carries herself. She's so manly. And then the other lady is feminine. So she must play the role of the woman, and this one must play the role of the man in the relationship. I was like, but that's not enough. That's not enough. I can like to dress up in predominantly male clothes, but that doesn't mean that I'm attracted or I am sleeping with a fellow woman. And he said that he passes near the staircase, and the staircase borders their bathroom. So in that bathroom, he hears them showering together. They shower together, they giggle in there, and they call each other babe. That sealed the deal. I was like, okay, you're right. They are a couple. So they're right here. And he seemed to object to it somehow. It bothered him, and I tried to advocate for it. By the way, I consider myself to be an LGBTQ ally, especially the gays. I think they have really been discriminated for so long in our society. So I try to educate people. I try to dispel the ignorance around gayism. So I explained to him what it is and how it should not be used to discriminate against them, to deny them a house. I'm glad our landlord has not decided to kick them out because they are lesbians. Because there are other places where they are kicked out if it is found you're gay, or there are places, there are hospitals where they are denied services because of it. I said, you have no business imposing your values on people or denying them basic rights because of what they do in the privacy of their bedroom. And he had a problem with it. So I took this matter to another friend and told him about it. And the friend also has a problem with gay people. Is like, okay, they should not be discriminated on. They should rent whichever house they want, and they should go to whichever hospital, but they shouldn't adopt children, and they shouldn't display their gayism openly. Maybe they should even have their own city. That's what he was saying, my friend. Or if it's not their own city, but they should do their things privately. They shouldn't be so open. And I was like, what is your concern? What is your fear when they are open? Because they will indoctrinate the children. Even the gay people that adopt children, he was saying, they will indoctrinate the children. And I told him, oh my gosh, what ignorance. That's a myth. That's a very serious myth. I gave him the data. I told him of journal articles that I personally researched. And those journal articles look at the sexuality of children who have been adopted by gay parents. Because the intention was to see whether gay parents make children gay. Can you teach people to be gay? And of course, the answer was no. Either you are into men or you are not as a man, or you are into women or you're not as a woman. It's not something that you are taught. It's not a choice. That notion that it's a choice, that you can be socialized into it, you can be convinced, you can be turned, is the reason why many Africans discriminate against gay people. So for Juliana, in a nutshell, many Africans are concerned about what people do in the bedroom because they think it will influence their children. And of course, that's misguided. That concern is misguided because at the end of the day, even if it was influencing them, and it doesn't, I've showed you, the research shows otherwise. Even if it did, it doesn't harm anyone. It's just religion which calls it a sin. These are remnants of religion, the downsides of religion, which calls it a sin, but it doesn't harm anyone. It doesn't prevent them from bearing children. As a biological woman, you can still bear children with a biological male. You can get inseminated. You can get insemination, or you can even just sleep. Even as a lesbian, you can sleep with a man. You don't even need to be aroused to conceive. So there are many lesbians that have kids. Those lesbians, my neighbors, they have a kid. So this person went and slept with a man and got a kid. So if they are opposed to the gay lifestyle because they think gay people can't have kids, they can. My neighbor is proof. Yeah, so all their reasons don't hold water. Now, next thing was what Morioki said about gays who have changed. Another very controversial idea that there are gay people who have changed after getting born again. I put it to you that all of them are lying. All they have done is they've stopped acting on their urge, but you can't change your wiring. If you are attracted to men as a man, no amount of prayer, no amount of, I don't know, fasting will cause you to stop being attracted to a man. All they do is they stop engaging in sex with members of the same sex. That's all they do. And then they say, oh, I've changed, I'm no longer gay. You can't stop being gay because the idea behind being gay is being attracted to members of the same sex. So it's not that there's a wiring in your brain that is turned on when they pray for you or they take you to those deconversion camps and now you stop being attracted to gay people. You don't stop. You still look at them and you still get aroused. But what they do is they stop acting on it. And then they go and announce, oh, I stopped being gay. No. In there, they still are. And they do so maybe for the first couple of years. But eventually, that urge will be so strong that they will eventually go back. Because this is a very private matter. You don't know what goes on behind the sheet. Eventually, maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, they'll slip. They'll go back to who they really are. You can't change it. In fact, those deconversion camps, the gay deconversion camps, are a form of child abuse. That's what I stand on. That's the hill I stand on. And I'm very much against it. I'm very much against it. It just demonizes people for what is naturally happening to them. Lastly, on the question Stano posed, are we disrespecting them when we criticize them? Yes, we are disrespecting them. And we should be willing to disrespect people who hold ridiculous ideas, delusional ideas. Respect, in my dictionary, is defined as concern for the wishes, feelings, and desires of someone. So if somebody believes in Santa Claus, should I respect that belief? Hell no. I'll disrespect it. I'll criticize it. So even with these people who are here claiming that Jesus can heal you, is El Shaddai, he can heal you, I'll criticize that. I'll say, no, that's a lie. If I see privilege, if I see religious privilege embodied in politics, in our education system, etc., I'm going to call it out. I will criticize it because this is based on a delusional idea. I'll disrespect it. We should be brave enough to disrespect ideas that are irrational. That is my last word. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes, can't hear. I can't hear you. Sorry, I don't know if it's me. I can't hear.
Yeah, you sound far. You sound far.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, I'm saying I agree about the engaging. Some is just by biological or natural or genetic, so they are in that order, so they cannot change. But there are some who do it for pleasure or for their own enjoyment, and those people can change. Just the way you can be doing something, and then you are editing about something, but you can change, or you can have a room to change. But there are those who are naturally in those things, so those they cannot change. Maybe they can try to pause for a little and go back. But for those who are not naturally there, they can be able easily change from that idea, because it's just like addiction, just the way you can be addicted from other things. So let's see from Deve, as we finalize, then Eston.
Yeah, I have a question for Muriuki. Muriuki, have you ever been attracted to a person that is not your, okay, if you are a man, have you ever been attracted to a man? Have you ever or if you are gay, have you ever been attracted to a woman? Have you ever been attracted to somebody who is not your gender? That what you are. Okay, that if you are a man, have you ever been attracted to a man? If you are not gay, have you ever been attracted to a man?
Yeah, maybe like when we were younger, when I was younger, maybe when we were kids.
You were attracted to you were attracted to men?
Yeah,
sexual?
No. Like, somebody just looks good. He just looks good. You find he looks handsome. So you like the way he looks. You like his looks. Just that.
Oh, I was talking about sexual attraction.
No. Never. A man never.
What about the girls? What about the girls?
Girls, yes. Even now.
Okay. So now my question to you is, if you've never been sexually attracted to a man, why do you expect somebody who is attracted to women to ever, who is attracted to men, to ever be attracted to women? Why? Just think about it. You don't have to answer to me. Because if you are always attracted to Jane, why would you be attracted to John? Because now I am turning it to you, to the other person, the gay person who you are saying can change to be attracted to women. If you cannot be attracted to men, why do you expect him to ever be attracted to women?
Never can answer. Never. Because majority is male, female. Majority, even in the animal kingdom, it's male and female naturally. It's
Who
male
cares?
and that's yeah.
Who cares? It only matters if I like Jane or John. Okay, for example, myself, I very close women. We do this. Women, particularly when we are younger, we even share beds and stuff like that. Gossip all night long. But I will leave Jane, and if John calls me and says, "Let's go for drink," I just leave. I tell Jane, bye bye, Jane. I'm going out with John. But Jane is my close friend. But there are things that I can't do with Jane, that I have to go to John. I've got to go to John for that. So why are you finding it so hard that I can never? Jane is my gossip buddy. We can share a bed, but there are things that we can't do because we are men's women. We are men's women. You know, we gossip, we can sleep together, but that's it. We are men's women. So I cannot change. I can't change and tell Jane one day, hey, no, she will look at me like, what's happening to John? I mean, you know what I mean? So, and she's not. She's a man's woman, and I'm a man's woman. That's it, and we can't change that. Even however much I like her as a person, we can't change that. Why do you expect the gay person to change that?
Debe, okay. My views, I'm not an expert, but my views with the gays and lesbians, something went wrong somewhere. It's not their fault. Something went wrong somewhere in their wiring. That's my view.
Nothing went wrong. How come you are attracted to women and not to men? What wrong are you talking about? What kind of wrong is that?
That's normal. Male and female, that's normal. Male and female is normal. That's the normal reaction. That's normal. But now, male and female, like something went wrong somewhere. Don't judge them, but something went wrong somewhere.
The minute you say it is that something went wrong, that's how they are oriented. I don't think that something went wrong. I'm just saying that is how they are. I would not say it is something wrong. It's how they got oriented. That's it. It's to me, it is not very complicated. It is how they got oriented. And as soon as you say wrong, it sounds like there's something that has to be corrected.
Or prevention.
Maybe we have to go into genetics. Before you go to the DNA and start changing, do you think that child wants to be changed? Have you asked that child the permission, that the fetus, the permission to change, to do those changes?
No, that should be for an adult. That's only for an adult.
Yeah, but an adult cannot decide to go into my genetics and change things for me. Anyway, now I am going to go to respect Moriki because I think I have worn you out. But I think I have given you something to think about. That this person is like that, and they're not wrong. You can't correct that. They are not wrong, and they are attracted to whoever they are attracted to. Just like you are attracted to women, they are attracted to men. Period.
Me, I don't judge them. I can never discriminate or judge them. I just say something went wrong. That's what I say. I just say they should be respected, but something went wrong somewhere, which I don't know.
Nothing went wrong. It's the genetics. Did something go wrong with you that you are attracted to women? No.
That's normal now. I'm a male. I like female. That's normal. Normal now.
Not necessarily normal according to whom.
Male, female is normal. Never. Male and female attract. That's normal.
Uruki. Did something go wrong with you since you are attracted to women but you don't have sex? Did something go wrong with you? A man,
they could be.
Not having sex is not. It means there's something that went wrong with you.
Yes, that's something I'm dealing with. Yeah, it's something I'm dealing with. That's true. I'm dealing with it.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
You've
the
admitted.
other one,
Okay. You've
just
at least
yeah,
you've admitted there is something wrong with you.
that
Yeah,
yes.
but I can handle it. I can handle it. Yeah? I can handle it in the right way.
Okay, the last question, Stano had asked, that I had said that Christians or religious people feel disrespected when we question and we have all these questions. First of all, when somebody asks questions, it is not a sign of disrespect. Sometimes it will be that somebody wants to know more, but beware. Beware of the religious people and the persecution complex. As soon as you ask questions, you are persecuting. Do you know what that is doing for you? That's guilting you. It is, what is the word? Guilting you. It is, what is the word? What is the burning? Gaslighting. The guilt tripping you, gaslighting you. You will feel bad that you asked a question. But they can ask you questions. But because you don't have the persecution complex like they do, you don't get gaslighted, because you will just go answer questions. You will say that you don't believe in God because of this and because of that. But then it's the persecution complex comes up right away, and then you start feeling that you've disrespected them. Not necessarily disrespect. It is the persecution complex. They feel so good that you persecuted them to go to heaven. Beware the persecution complex. It's not disrespect. It is just that they take it as you are persecuting them. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear from Eston as we finalize.
I don't know. There's something I wanted to say about this thing about gayism and lesbian. Don't you guys feel that people I'm having a feeling that people don't have a problem with the people with women being lesbian, but they have a problem with men being gay. I find this thing. I find that's how I'm feeling, because when even I see on TikTok, lesbians are open about them being lesbians on TikTok here in Kenya. But I've never seen a gay who is openly gay. And if they are very few. It's like, honey, I don't understand why lesbians you don't really have that much of a problem with lesbians, but gays, I don't know what's. Don't you guys feel the same way? Because when I see on TikTok, lesbians are openly saying yes, me I'm a lesbian, but for gays, yeah, it's like they live in another world from lesbians here in Kenya. I don't know about in Europe or in America, but here in Kenya, that's the feeling I have. Or what do you guys have to say about that? Okay, that's my last contribution.
Okay, fine.
Anyone who has a comment on that can say yes.
Yeah, for me, I think it's about the penetration. For lesbian, there is not any kind of penetration. But for gayism, they have to do penetration in a side where religious they don't think is okay, and even some atheists they don't think it's okay to use anus. So I think that is only the where I can just say. But for lesbian, they don't need any penetration. Yeah, for organism. Murioki, you have something to say, or any other person to comment on that before as we conclude?
Yeah, maybe I can answer, Maestro. I think in the last meeting we had about being in Africa, I mentioned this. I think men are more stigmatized because of it's wasting sperm with intent, because men carry semen. So wasting sperm with intent. Then I think that's the reason. Yeah, and then also doctors in church, there are very many women in church. You mentioned women are always put down in church. There have been women get a lot of trouble in church. So doctors, you need to work on women in church because they're the most in church and they seem to suffer the most. Then one last point, if it's disrespect, let's do it to the belief, not the person. Let's look at the belief, not the person. So you judge the belief and leave the person alone. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Ryoki, though somehow you have messed up. So let's see, Dorocas, as we say bye. And thank you, everyone, for that participation. So let's see, Dorocas, as we end the meeting now.
Fantastic. I think the answer to Eston's question is found in our group. If you look at our history, we had a member in our group who was vehemently opposed to gay people. And he said categorically he has no problem with lesbians, but he objects to gay sex. And the phrase he used to use is, it is sewage sex. Sewage. So, according to him, it is repulsive. It is repulsive to have anal sex. And that is a myth that goes on for very long and among very many people in our country. Most people are repulsed by the idea of gay sex. I even admit myself, when I used to see gay people, men specifically, I would just imagine, hey, they're tampering around with their anuses. Maybe they have a poop fetish. That's what I used to think. But then later, when I became a skeptic and I looked into the data, I consider myself to be an empiricist. I go where the data leads. I don't go with feelings or with dogma, religious dogma anymore. I go where the data is. And I also go with humanist principles. So the basis of secular humanism is not harming another individual. Gay sex or anal sex among consenting adults, no matter how disgusting it is to your eyes, to your mind, because you're not seeing it, but you're imagining, no matter how disgusting it is not harming anyone because they are giving themselves pleasure. It's up to them to feel the disgust or to engage in what that member used to call sewage sex. It is them. They are not harming anyone. So we have no business to impose our values on them. These Kenyans who have an issue with gay men, they really need to think critically about their belief, and they'll realize that it has no leg to stand on. So yeah, that's what I had to say on your question, Eston. It's just a myth. Maybe we can continue to debunk in the future. Then on what Moroki said about women and their place in religion, yes, you're right. You are right. This is a personal cause I have taken up. All the women I interact with who are religious, okay, not all, I'm lying, not all, but the ones who are close to me, the ones at least I share a lot with, I always try to talk about the double standards and the unequal treatment towards them. I try to show them. And some of my friends are seeing it now. They really have become sensitized to it. but others are too indoctrinated. And do you know what is keeping them there? The carrot wielded by the few benefits that religion offers, like the sense of community. And that's why I'm like, we need to open more secular communities so that these people are not hooked onto religion because of those few carrots. But most importantly, I think they still hang on because of indoctrination. It's so hard to change your way of life. You've been believing this from the time you were a little child, from the time you could speak. You were talking about Jesus loves me, this I know for the Bible. You know, they indoctrinated them. So you requiring them to abandon everything they've ever known is a tall order. That's why my work is really an uphill climb, but I am very committed to doing it nonetheless. So thank you for bringing that out. Thank you, everybody, for your contribution. Thank you so much, Deve, for your insights and for asking Morioki the hard questions. Thank you, Morioki.
Good night. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everyone, or good night, wherever you are. We'll meet in the next one.